And legit.
Yeah. Owen in Virginia, you're on the Bet US caller line. Thanks for your call.
Thank y'all. I actually just discovered y'all a few weeks ago, and I've been listening to y'all ever since, all this stuff happened with Oklahoma and Texas. So really excited to be on. I'm a huge West Virginia fan, so go Mountaineers. But I was just wondering, out of all the teams with the Pac-12 and Big 12 merger, if those teams don't get into another group of five like Baylor, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Kansas State, Iowa State, which of those teams do you think would go independent before they would go to a group of five?
That's a really good and interesting question, because you've got to wonder who would have the financial wherewithal to do it. And I don't know if anybody would, because, look, I know that there's a couple of independent schools, BYU, but they're in a conference in every sport but football. They're, Army is, and I guess Navy's in the AAC right now.
Yeah, they're in the AAC.
Yeah, so Navy's in the AAC. So there's not many. I mean, there's very few like Notre Dame that can just have their own self-sustaining economy. And I don't know if that's I think Texas could have if they wanted to, and then that's the question you asked. But
somebody
that's
just mentioned. In fact, they said when they had the Longhorn Network launch, and of course everyone the hair's on fire, and we know what that led to. That might have been a time right then. They were still pretty fresh off of how good they were in 2009, that they could have possibly looked at the because of the market, the alumni base, and all that, the eyeballs, that maybe they could go independent. USC, I've heard them a lot. Well, it's a private school.
Ryan Abraham mentioned that yesterday.
They might have enough of that national brand to try to do that, but that's a dangerous thing if it doesn't work.
Craig, I don't think anybody could of the 8 that really without taking a huge hit.
No. I mean, unless you went the Liberty route, and the only problem with that is that Baylor and TCU, I think that in theory they could do that, but Liberty is just so massive. Liberty has a massive, like UCF with their online enrollment and all of that. So. I don't think there's a good candidate. Baylor's brand name doesn't carry enough weight to be able to, in my opinion. I mean, not that Liberty does, but again, Liberty's just so massive. It's so big, and it's got so much money behind it. Baylor's got some money, but it's still 10,000 students basically, maybe 12. I mean, so it's a small school, but yeah, I don't think any of them can. I mean, Iowa State, no. K-State, no. Kansas, no. I mean, we go down the list. They're all no's. So, no, I mean...
There's not even one that makes me think about whether they could be independent, with all due respect.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if Baylor had a giant online enrollment or something of 20,000 people, and maybe, just maybe they would have a chance, but I don't see it. I think you got to be kind of unique like Liberty is, or, the service academies, et cetera.
West Virginia from Patrick P. Nelson. This is what I love about the audience we have, is that there's history that sometimes we might forget about or overlook. West Virginia was independent. They were for a long time, including 1968 to 1990.
Yeah. But see, that's
Florida State was independent for a while.
They were, but the times have changed now.
When did they join the ACC?
In 91 or something like that, 92.
So they joined the ACC before they won their national titles?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. For some reason, I would have probably missed that. I would have thought maybe 90. Well, they won in 99, and then they won again in 13. When was the year with your buddy Jameis?
Yeah, 93, 99, and 13.
I thought they might have been independent one of those years, but I guess not. That's a long time ago. I didn't know that they joined the ACC that far back. 254-339-1122. Paul, you got anything else?
No.
All right.
Let's go to break for Mickey.
Pittsburgh was independent. Miami, of course, was independent. We know, there used to be a nice chunk of them. You used to look in the newspaper back before the internet, and they'd have all the conferences. Of course, some of them, a lot of them have been nuked. And then you'd have the independents. There'd be a big chunk of teams that were independent in football. When we come back, we go into Canton, Ohio.